So welcome everyone. Today we are going to see how us as entrepreneur and overachiever can manage to do everything even though we have a ton of things to do. Especially you are going to take example from me. I'm going to show you the schedule I've built for myself and how I did it and what are the thoughts that went through my mind as I was doing it, and take it from me as an entrepreneur who also happen to want to be a professional player in golf, and so I have to manage both a ton of work on the entrepreneurial side on the for to build my business and to train as a professional athlete. So I have everything I need to do, and I need to put everything, and I need to get it done in a day. So I need to train and I need to work. So I'm going to show you how you can put everything together into two actually schedule, one light and one that is actually a little bit more dense. Because what I realize, one of the most important thing I realize is often when we are building schedule, we kind of think, okay, this is this is a perfect week, and I'm going to try to do everything I can every time, all the time. And what we don't realize is throughout the year, we have up and downs in terms of energy, and that's okay. But the key here is to avoid burning out, stopping just for a few weeks and then getting back. No, the idea of having light weeks is about, okay, is the schedule to still moving forward, but kind of getting the fit a little bit of the gas. And on the other side, you have the dense weeks, which is actually the weeks type where you are crushing it, where you are going a really lot after it. And so, for instance, you might do 4 weeks in a row with dense weeks, then just 1 week a little bit light. And that's something I've learned from the sports side. With periodization, you don't want to be 100% all the time. Sometimes you just need to take a little bit of step back just to recharge the batteries. That doesn't mean you don't train or you don't work. You do work, you do train, but you are doing it in much more relaxed state, and something that you can recover from, gain energy so you can crush it for the next few weeks. And sometimes you will need like a month, an entire month, where you are just doing 4 weeks straight of light weeks just to recover from long-term fatigue. So that's kind of the first point where we are going to balance both of it, and I'm going to show you what the actual light week first look like for me, and why I built it, and what are the thoughts that went through my mind when I built it. And then I'm going to show you the dense version of that to be able to adjust. So uh, first thing first is to be able to know where your day start and end. That's probably the most important and the most important part. And this is going to mainly be dictated by your circadian rhythm. Just who you are as a person, but on a genetic level. That's not something you can change. You can change a little bit, but there is some constraint you have. For instance, me, and I'm probably one of the extreme case. I'm a night owl, which means I tend to have my top physical energy later in the day and mental energy later in the day, while on the other hand, during the morning, I'm pretty much useless. And so the consequence of that is in the morning, I'm waking late, and generally I go to bed very late as well. So as you can see on the schedule, this is about I'm waking up at 10 a.m. and I'm going to sleep at 1 a.m., which is a nice 9 hour sleep. I need a lot of sleep also. That's my need. I know I need that amount to be able to function well over time. But this made all the difference, because you before that I was trying to force myself into waking up at 7 or 8 a.m. and going to bed a little bit earlier. But what I found is, because this is out of my natural circadian rhythm, I was accumulating fatigue over time. Where here, since I've changed that, I sleep less than before, and yet I'm maintaining a high level of energy over time without accumulating that fatigue. And so that was a very big change for me. Maybe you don't need that will not make that much a difference for you, but for me that made huge difference. Then, and also that's also important for not only understanding when to wake up and when to go to bed, that's also important to understand what type of task you are going to do throughout the day to be sure that you have the right energy level at every point during the day. And so, for instance, me as a night owl, what generally speaking, during the morning, I have a light rise of energy. For on a scale of 0 to 100, I would say my energy rise about until 40 to 50%. So that's a little bit of energy, but that's not a crazy amount. And because my body and my mind need time to kind of waking up, that's why, first of all, I have a full hour to wake up. That's something I need. Because if I don't do it, what happens is that's causing me a ton of stress. So I need to be very gentle when I wake up. And then I have a light creative work because when your mind is in this recovery state, because for me in the morning that kind of that, and for you, for instance, if you're a morning person, that's going to be quite the opposite. Your recovery state is going to happen later in the day, almost just before going to bed. For me, that happened when I wake up, and so this is just a little bit of creative work. So you can have do some script writing, ideation, or just thinking about your day of what is going to happen. But for me, that happened in the morning. But for morning people, this will happen in the evening, where you're thinking about, okay, what I'm going to do next day, or what are actually the thing. Maybe you can think about the video you want to make and so on. And so the rest of the day is going to be juggled with the different core tasks I need to have. And that's also something you need to identify for yourself. What are the core tasks you need to get done to move the needle forward? For me, there is, I believe, three core tasks. One is going to be my app development. Second is going to be my content creation, where I want to build this channel and also my golf channel, because I'm also creating content for my golf channel. And so I want to build all of that to create an audience where that is going to help me grow my business online later. That's what I want to do. So that's really important to do. But the main key for growing my business is my app. This is the product I'm building. As long as this product is not usable, I cannot. That's also extremely important. But on the other side, if I don't create content and don't build an audience and I can't sell to people, that's, you see, that's generally speaking, when you are building a business, you have everything you need to do at the same time. So this is how I do it. And third, I have my training session. So I have gym and golf. So the light week is where things are actually more balanced. I do either gym or golf. I don't do both every day. So I have this session between 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. where I actually focus. I'm doing my training because this is the time where I am at my peak energy level. This is very late at night, and because this the key elements that make it a light day is this box here and these boxes. So I have a flex box here, which allow me to actually work more on my app, more on my content creation if I want. This is flexible, or just rest in between. If I feel okay, that's too much, okay, I just work 2-3 hours on my app, then I chill for about an hour, then I do content creation and so on. And then you have a pre-training downtime, because after all the work I've done on the light weeks, this is on the light week, having a pre-training downtime where, okay, I leave the work of my business aside, I start preparing for my training and so on. Also, that's important if you have any commute to put that in, because that's something, generally speaking, a schedule doesn't work because you're not taking consideration all the elements. And then you're under stress because you say, oh shit, I should be there and I haven't commute to there. And so, no, just take it in consideration. So that way you have a clear picture of what you're doing. And that also, because to be sustainable, you need to feel that this schedule is easy to do. That it don't compress everything. Just, okay, chill. Make sure you have a block for everything you want to do. and then just do it. But don't overstretch it. You can even think about it in the other direction, where you more likely are going to want to give yourself a little bit of margin of error either side, between each block, to be sure that, okay, I can easily go through each block and get things done. That's the main thing. And so me, I'm not only taking 2 meals, because that's just because I'm completely shifted. I'm taking like a brunch at 12 a.m. and like a second meal, the early dinner at 5 p.m. And after I come back from training, I actually have a protein shake for my just to have something, some protein for my body to recover during the night. That's mainly that, and then I work on the content creation, but that's mainly doing the content creation of the golf. That way I have a block here for the content creation of my business, and since I've just worked on my business, that's easy to follow through. And then here I do the content creation of my training just after. That way I'm always up to date every day, and I can start a new day. So that's what a light day look like. And for me, for you, if you're a morning person, you don't need that. But since I have my peak energy level at that time, if I don't wind down or prep to sleep, I have a very solid routine to decrease my energy before I go to sleep. I can very well stay awake until 2 a.m., 3 a.m. So I need a very solid routine to come down from my high energy levels that I had at the beginning of the day. And so pretty much a week is going to look like this. For me, because I want to be a professional player, and tournaments are happening generally from Thursday to Sunday. This is just my rhythm. The Monday is my day off. Simply, just okay, I can chill, recover, rest, get out, and some anything I want. But mainly this is what I tell you: gym, golf, gym, golf, gym, golf. Not two things at the same time on the same week. Now, so that's the baseline of what I'm going to do. And here I even write down a little bit my wake up routine, having the rising sun alarm, to just, because for me it's extremely important. If I want to not shift my circadian rhythm in the wrong way, I really need to wake up smoothly and really as gently as possible, to avoid any potential stress, because stress then is going to shift my circadian rhythm towards the morning, and which I don't want. So then I listen to sound, just waking up my nervous system, and that's smoothly as I'm moving toward the end of the morning. Anyway, so that's kind of the light week, and then we are going to move on to the dance week. So the main difference between the dance week and the light week is I'm going gym and golf on the same day. So I have a 1 hour and a half gym block and a 2 hours golf block, on top of working on my app, doing content creation, and yeah. So that's what I see. I have so why the reason it's dance is because I don't have those flex box or this downtime training routine that I had. Is pretty much on from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to sleep, even though okay, I'm still waking up gently. This is also something I put here. It's not about going to do all of that at 100%. As an overachiever, this is the biggest mistake I have. This is just about showing up every single day doing this routine. And if you only do 25% of what you could have done, just do 25%. The key is to be able to do that all around the year, throughout the year, without interruption. That's where you are going to make the biggest benefit, because even on the dance week, I have 2 hours of work on my app, which add up to about 12 hours per week of deep work on my app. I have also 2 more hours of content creation, and if I count the actual work I do in the morning, which is like creative work, which is a moment where I think about ideas and so on. So that's also content creation work. I have about 3 hours per day on that, which accumulate to about three, eight, uh, 18 hours per week on content creation, and having that of those 2 blogs. So it will depend on your situation, but if I can manage to do that much, okay, probably if I wasn't, if I didn't want to get to go to the professional level as golf, probably I will be able to do more. But that's the dream I have. That's not something I'm really willing to uh, to compromise. And so until now, what I was doing, I was either working on my app or training. And so every time I was feeling guilty that I wasn't working on everything. At least every day with those, I'm working on everything. And so depending on the part of the season I am in my golf training or in the season and so on, I will either do the dance week. The dance week is much more focused on the training golf side, while still maintaining some work on my business. Where the like week for me is more about having more time to work on my app, on content creation, rather than having being a little less focused on the training side of things. And I have a lot of uh, of um, of light week in terms of training that I can apply this framework, and so I will be able to do that and use that time to actually produce more on the business side. So yeah, and honestly, for the weekly part, that's just going to be the same thing. You just have to replace this by the new dance, the version of your planning, but mainly that's it. And so really, the thing I want you to keep in mind is understand yourself and the constraint you have. The more you're able to understand how you work, the easier it's going to be. Because every time before I tried to build a schedule like this, because I was fighting against my natural, just who I am as a person in terms of circadian rhythm and so on, and the way I work, this caused me stress, which make it unsustainable over the long run. What you want is first build a routine that you feel okay with, and start. And I'm saying this for myself as well, because as an overachiever, you want to give 100% in everything you do all the time. But no, here the 100% is if you get it, if you just show up. If you just show up, you are getting it done at 100%, and that's enough. Just showing up is enough. Then once you're comfortable with this 25%, just showing up, you can try to push a little more, but understand that building a business is an endurance game. That's not a sprint. And so what you want to do is actually work at 50%, because if you work at 100%, you need to recover. You cannot sustain day after day. But doing that at 50%, day in, day out, weeks after week after week, that's something you can sustain for as long as you want. So, and when times show up, because you are going to do your own version of the dance, if you have only one business to work on, the dance version of your week is going to be a week where you crush it. You work 10, 12 hours in a day just to move the needle, or even more, maybe 15, 18. I don't know. I can't, because I need 9 hours sleep, but maybe you can. And so on those weeks, you will crush it, and then you will scale back a little bit. And that way, you can take almost very little to no holidays and keep going, moving forward. The worst possible thing that can happen to you is burning out, because if you burn out, your business will not move forward, because probably you're building your business, and unless you already have a full team behind you that is working with you, if you burn out, your business will stop moving forward, and that you cannot afford. You have to keep going. and especially if you have a financial risk associated with it. So use that balance between dense week and light week to manage your fatigue over time and being able to sustain that work for as long as necessary until you succeed. And take it from me, this idea of periodization is how the most performant athlete in the world use. They manage their fatigue throughout the year to peak, to be at the best level when they need it. And so they basically use high volume when they are away from the big tournaments to really get fatigue and train as hard as possible. And then when they are getting closer to the tournament, they are kind of dropping, but that's also something that allows you to recover so you can boost and make even harder training later. And so we can adapt that to business. And this is how I show you. So over the long run, the idea you just need to keep in mind is about 3 to 4 weeks on, and then you take a week light, and you do that for about 3 to 4 months. Every 3 to 4 months, you take a full month where you do only light weeks. That's about it. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.